Hello guys, I'm back with a third part of my top 10 incredible indie game series, and I'm not planning on stopping anytime soon. There are so many indie games that deserve the support and a lot more attention than they are getting. And even better is that new indie games get revealed and released all the time. So finding games for this series really isn't that big of an issue. Don't forget to wishlist any of these games that you are interested in and maybe even support their socials. Links are in the description as always. Let's get into the actual video. Loot River is a very unique game that I think looks really cool. Loot River is a dungeon crawling action roguelike that combines tense real-time combat and dark fantasy settings with spatial block shifting. It has a very pretty pixelated art style, and I particularly like how the water reacts to the blocks moving. You'll have to be really clever in how you approach situations, and you really have to use the block shifting to your advantage when you're overwhelmed. You will also be able to use skill points and level up. The combat itself looks fun, but the real strength of the game is the block shifting mechanic. I would definitely be keeping my eye on this game. It's coming to PC and Xbox at some point. It's also coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. Now, Bear and Breakfast is not a game I know a lot about, but as soon as I saw it, I was very interested in it. Their Steam page says this: Bear and Breakfast is a laid-back management adventure game where you play as a well-meaning bear trying to run a B&B in the woods. Hank and his friends find an abandoned shack and, equipped with a teenage ingenuity, turn it into a money-making bed and breakfast scheme for unsuspecting tourists. As your business expands, so do the mysteries of the forest, and Hank soon finds himself uncovering a plot deeper than the wilderness itself. Now, I don't play a lot of management games, but this game caught my attention. It's just such an interesting concept, you know? Being a bear and trying to run a B&B sounds like a lot of fun, and I love mysteries in games too. Outside of that, I also like the chill vibe of the game, and I think the game has a sick art style. It's just really beautiful, and from the short trailer, it has a lot of charm in it. The game is coming to Steam and Nintendo Switch in 2022. I can't wait to play it.
Oh, and you probably should do something about whatever's lurking out there.
Now this game looks sick. Have a Nice Death was revealed at the Game Awards and it immediately caught my attention. It was one of my favorite games of the show. The animations are incredible and I don't even want to know how much time they had to spend on them to make them look so good. The gameplay looks like a lot of fun too. And the soundtrack is a bop. Their Steam page says this: Have a Nice Death is a 2D action roguelite where you play as an overworked death whose employees have run rampant, completely throwing off the balance of souls and his vacation plans. In order to restore order, you'll have to grab your trusty scythe and show your employees who's boss. I'm sold. It just looks so good and it's coming out soon. March 2022 in fact. It will be an early access version and only on Steam, so us PC players will be eating good when this comes out. Grapple Dog is a game where you have a grapple, and you are a dog. That's probably all you need to know, but just to sell you even more on the game, let me read a bit from their own Steam page, as I usually do. Jump, swing and zip your way through colorful worlds and exciting challenges in this unique 2D action platformer. Master the power of the grapple on your adventure to save the world. Now, I usually say that every game is better with a grappling hook, and so far, I have not been proven wrong. The game is a very colorful platformer, and I never get tired of them. I feel like we always need more colorful platformers, and just colorful games in general. Colors just make me happy. From what I've seen, this game seems to be one of those easy to play, hard to master, and that is something that I like. Just doing everything I can to improve my times in a game can be a lot of fun. This game will be coming to Steam and Nintendo Switch on February 10th. Storyteller is a game where you tell stories, and you're actually the one telling them. You get different settings and characters, and somehow you have to put them all together to tell a story. Your story has to fit the title, but outside of that, you decide how you get to that outcome. It's actually a really clever game. It gives you a lot of freedom, and I think that's awesome. It's an interesting way to do a puzzle game. The art style is also very pretty, and it's also very unique. If this interests you, there is a demo out right now. feel free to give it a try. The game is coming to Steam and Nintendo Switch at some point. Thymesia is a Souls-like, and I think that's pretty clear from watching a few seconds of the game. But at the same time, it does have its own identity. It seems to be very fast-paced, which I think is nice, and I'm loving the aesthetic. There are a lot of cool character designs, especially the bosses, and I feel like that is important for any Souls-like. I'm just really loving the atmosphere and the grim world. Now, I'm not the best at explaining a game like this, so I'll just read some of what the devs have said themselves. Thymesia is a grueling action RPG with fast-paced combat and an intricate plague weapon system. In a kingdom where death spreads, play as a mysterious character known by the codename Corvus. Prey upon your enemies, wield the power of disease, and find the truth in your own memories. The power of disease is really cool, and I can't wait to use that scythe ability. More Souls-like games are appreciated, and I will hopefully have the courage to play the game when it comes out on PC at some point in 2022. Saber looks sick as fuck. I'm a simple man. If I see any kind of parkour system in a game, I'm instantly sold on it. The game is an action-adventure platformer with sick parkour and a combat system that has a strike, dodge and parry. The combat isn't really something you usually find in games like these. I like when 2D games and platformers can have a combat system with a bigger focus on strategy and learning when to strike. The devs have said that the further you get into the game, the more difficult the enemy's attacks will be to dodge and attack, which might be obvious, but in platformers you don't always have this type of progression in-game. The combination of parkour and a lot of different animations will really make the movement feel fluid, and makes the game stand out compared to a lot of other games in the genre. This game honestly looks sick, and I can't wait to play it. The game will be coming to Steam and Nintendo Switch in winter 2022. Sons of Valhalla is a game I randomly found while browsing the upcoming games on Steam, and as a Swede, I simply had to check it out. And what I found was a game that looks very interesting. It is a side-scrolling base building strategy game set in the age of the Vikings, which makes sense considering the name. You play as the son of a Viking Jarl, and you go on a quest to England to save the love of your life. Now, at first glance, this did remind me of Kingdom 2 Crowns, but I do think it's more than just a copy. It is its own thing. This is what the devs said about the gameplay. The core of Sons of Valhalla are the fast, intense action battles mixed with real-time strategy elements. Create an army of Vikings and take them to war against England. Improve your skills and strengthen your warriors for the next battle. Build fortresses to ensure a steady flow of resources and warriors. Plunder and conquer enemy villages and castles. This sounds like it will actually have some combat elements, which I appreciate in games like these. I do like strategy elements, but actual real-time combat can be fun too. The devs are launching a Kickstarter for the game on February 19th, and it would mean a lot to me if some of you guys went and supported it. I'm sure it would help them out a lot. Silt looks great, and I also fucking hate it. I really don't like the ocean, and I do fear it. Just seeing pictures of the ocean makes me feel very uncomfortable. You could say I have a bit of the good old thalassophobia, but I still want to play this game. Does it make me a bit fucked in the head? Perhaps. But after seeing this, can you really blame me for wanting to see what it's all about? It's just so creepy and surreal. The devs have this to say about the game. Alone in an underwater abyss, you are a diver searching the deep to uncover long-forgotten mysteries. Silt is a puzzle adventure game set in a surreal oceanic void. Explore the depths, possessing the creatures around you to solve environmental puzzles and travel deeper into the darkness. Fuck this game, but at the same time, I'm so into it. The game is coming out early 2022 on Steam. Now moving on from the creepy depths of the ocean, we have Guinea Pig Parkour. Guinea Pig Parkour is a parkour platform game with some incredible animations. The animations really are what sold this game to me. The game is completely hand-drawn and takes heavy inspiration from 90s animated cartoons and games. The entire game is developed and animated by a single artist. The animation is hand-drawn frame by frame at 24 frames per second, which makes the animation incredibly fluid. A colorful platformer with fluid animations is all I need for a good time. The game is coming to Steam at some point. Now that's it! Those are 10 indie games I think you should keep your eyes on. Now I know I'm not the most consistent content creator, but I do think it's more important that I try to make these videos good instead of just pumping them out. And I have been trying other content too, like edited streams and such. Focusing on smaller games like these every once in a while does bring me a lot of joy, and what makes me even happier is seeing the nice feedback I get from you guys. That does mean a lot, and it keeps me going. Please check out some of these games and maybe wishlist them. Links will be in the description as always. I appreciate you all.